Okay, take your Dramamine. I'm going to be on the move with the camera in this video. As I've mentioned before, I'm making some of these videos during the year when my family and I are living in Turkey and having a terrific intercultural experience. But I wanted to show you a little bit about the house that we were lucky enough to rent once we got here. We looked for weeks and finally scored this amazing 400-year-old or more Greek home. There's a long story about how there used to be a Greek population in Turkey, and then there was a population exchange in the early 1900s where the Greeks had to go back to Greek and some Turks who were living in Greece had to come back to Turkey. So there are many Greek homes that were left abandoned and have since been taken over by the Turks who remain. So we are this year renting a really old Greek home, and in fact it's built on top of cave homes that are more than 1,000 years old, which maybe I'll show you in another video. Anyhow, I am now in my son's room, what we're using as my son's room for the year, in our Greek home. It's a beautiful room. Probably should be the main salon of the house, but since there aren't really distinct sleeping spaces in this kind of design, we just kind of have thrown beds wherever. So the big fancy room is my 7-year-old son's room. And I thought I would show you a little bit of what we've done to make it less grand. We've really hurt the place. All right, so here we go with the camera on the move. Hold on. So when you first come in the room, there are these really wonderful alcoves and lots of carvings. You can kind of see this face up here that's carved into the wall. Or maybe it's not a face. Maybe it's a pineapple. I don't know what it's supposed to be. There is a traditional water pipe, nargila, which you can still smoke from. It's tobacco usually mixed with some sort of flavor, like a fruit flavor. You can get a watermelon nargila, apple nargila. There's some big skeleton keys. This thing, which I find ugly as sin, is made by some village woman. I'm hoping it's for good luck because it was here and we're leaving it. But you'll notice as I continue around the room that we have mixed in our own belongings. So we have really fabulous grand touches in the room. And then of course we also have my son's Star Wars comics, because I like to think that Jabba the Hutt is welcome anywhere. As you continue around the room, again, it's this stone room. We've used the alcoves for books. And then we have this, again, did I say ugly as sin? Chair. It's on a raised platform. The seating traditionally in Turkey is on these low platforms and you put cushions on them. But since we're here for only a year, we didn't want to make the investment of buying all that stuff just to leave it behind. So we're using free furniture. And this chair, believe me, was free. I wouldn't buy it of my own free will. But look, there's this great carved stuff. Very ornate. And then we have this like Skull Island game. If you continue around the room, there's a wonderful old fireplace, still with some of the original blue paint on it. You can see even more carved things. But what have we done to this glorious stuff? We've hung up very incongruous things. We've hung up a chart of my son's favorite Pokemon. So we have this like tremendous old piece of art, the Pokemon, all hanging above this enamel, again, very elaborate, beautiful soba. This is one of the coal-burning stoves. So the traditional things are wonderful. We have my son's clothes in this little closet. But then we've kind of made the room look strange and trashy because I bought cheap sheets, cheap cushions to use on this low divan seating. And we're homeschooling, so the kids have their books everywhere. This is where they lay and do their studies. We have this fabulous old copper table. This is the traditional, actually it's still the way a lot of Turks eat, these low round tables, so you sit on your cushions, put a big tablecloth over it, everyone takes their chunk of tablecloth, puts it over their laps, and then you just reach right in and eat. But of course, how have we messed it up? Well, we've got books, we got the Pokeball, we have spelling tests, and my favorite touch of all would be the punching bag that we've hung from the ceiling from this terrific hook. So the room is really a grand place. It's elaborate, it's ornate, it's formal. And what we've done is pull the feeling of the place down. We've kind of ruined the tone of the room by throwing in all our modern things that don't really fit. What I would like to say to you about this in regards to your paper is, please consider the same thing when you are choosing the words and the language you use in your writing. I would ask you to remain elaborate and formal. Please don't ruin it like we've done here by being too modern, too informal. So when you're writing a sentence, always go for the fancy word, the formal word, the highfalutin word. As I say here on the whiteboard, no, please don't use, and so the government should try other stuff. Yes, please do use something like, thus the government should capitulate and agree to explore alternative options.